Kenya's Isiolo district is a charming little town with many shops, hotels, restaurants, and colorful markets. Dusty little place, much like any other Kenyan town in the dry season, and a very muddy place in the rainy season. It is a climate of hot days and cool nights. Due to its altitude and the surrounding hills are lush and green, providing excellent views of the nearby landscape. It's also home to the Lewa Wildlife Conservancy. However, despite intensive conservation efforts, poaching of the iconic species is dramatically increasing, pushing the remaining rhinos closer and closer towards extinction. Lewa is at the heart of Kenya's Rhino and Wildlife Conservation Program.
Rhino is for Kenya, it's an iconic species. It's an animal that Kenyans, I think, identify with. We've raised over $4 million in the last 13 years. And because of the work that we're doing here on Lewa and other conservation initiatives are doing in Kenya, and Kenya Wildlife Service is doing throughout the rest of Kenya to protect what I think I'm right in saying is only 600 of these black rhino that are left currently in Kenya.
There is help, and one such massive contributor to Kenya's conservation effort is the Rhino Ark, formed specifically to assist the Kenya Wildlife Service to finance a protective fence around the salient area, which has the highest concentration of wildlife in the Aberdares. The initial project idea subsequently evolved into a much more ambitious task of encircling the entire Aberdare conservation area with a game-proof fence. The fence, strong enough to resist elephant pressure, is powered by electricity to keep wildlife within and to curb illegal log extraction, snaring, poaching of wildlife, especially the rhino and the rare and elusive bongo, from without. And just a short drive from Lewa is the Kalepo Conservancy, home to some of Kenya's most spectacular landscapes and diverse wildlife. However, for the 2015 edition of one of the most difficult off-road events on Earth, Kalepo became home. The Rhino Charge was conceived in Nairobi when Rhino Ark founder Kevin Kule asked rally enthusiast Rob Coombs whether he would organize a motorsport event to help raise funds for the Rhino Ark Charitable Trust. The rest, as they say, is history. Since 1989, the Rhino Charge has captivated off-road enthusiasts from across the world. A one-day off-road event during which a maximum of 65 competitors are required to visit 13 control points scattered over approximately 100 square kilometers of rough terrain within a 10-hour period. However, there are many more obstacles along the way.
Fundamentally, the Rhino Charge is a Harambee. And basically, everyone that is here to contribute and put money together for the Rhino Ark Charitable Trust. And that is a conservation organization which basically protects our water towers. So, we take environmental sustainability very importantly for the event. It's another reason we limit the number of vehicles to 65 is, again, to limit the damage into the environment directly. And then, of course, we are changing venues all the time. So it's not like we're here every year, it's somewhere different all the time. And we've had environmental impact assessments carried out by independent bodies, because, of course, there are always skeptics, and not everyone agrees that motorsport should be used for raising money for conservation and things like that. But I would always encourage people to, do their research, really look at it, really critique it, and understand that actually the benefits are massive to so many people. And obviously, what's critical for all of us is getting the message out there. So it's great that Supersport are here to help spread the message about what's going on, and to spread that word around Africa that we can do things, we can raise money and do good projects on the ground. So really great that Supersport are here to actually push that message out for us. It's a great event, but people need to understand why it's there.
Jumbo, Mambo VP.
2015 was the first edition in the competition's history where wheel size came into play.
Tire size is one of the most determining factors to look at, and we have put a fixed limit. We do not want tires in excess of 40 inches here at the Rhino Charge. The main reason for putting those limits is first to keep with the initial spirit of the Rhino Charge. It is a 4x4 vehicle competitions. And We have been looking at that actually very carefully. As you know, the Rhino Charge is a competition which has been created to raise funds for conservation, to support rhino arc conservation work in Kenya mountain forest. So we cannot raise money by damaging the environment on one side as a way to raise money to protect the environment somewhere else.
Having the new regulations on tire size and weight, there's pluses to it. I mean, we've forced us to become a lighter car. Ours are really on the borderline. The cutoff was 10-16 millimeters standing height. So I'm glad to say they took on board the recommendation that like 2.5-3% allowance to be allowed. So that makes us legitimate. Looking at some of the cars, they're really well prepared, and you're reminded how strong the competition is, how tough the terrain looks. All of which we're set up for. The car is good and strong for that, but I can see there's a lot of other cars.
We're checking if they're matching the requirements we need, like safety features, like the roll cage, the seat belts, if they have them installed in the car. And then we have things like first aid kits, fire extinguishers. They have a supply of water in the car. And then we're just checking the basic, like they have the sponsor stickers and all that on the car, and then they're ready to go. Also, there are tracking devices that does the scoring and for search and rescue. So we're checking that if it's all functional, and then we're letting them go.
And the main purpose is not about time, it's about distance. We have 13 checkpoints scattered across this landscape here behind me, and the cars have to go through every single of those checkpoints and come back to the initial checkpoint from where they started the morning by doing so in the minimum distance. Speed is not the key aspect. It's about skills. It's about skills, reading the landscape, understanding where the gullies and the steep slopes and the sandy patches could be as a way to avoid them and to make sure that they can still go from one checkpoint to the next checkpoint in the shorter distance.
And while scrutineering is the final stage before the cars are cleared to charge, for this group of drivers it was almost the end of the competition altogether.
We're trying to modify our Range Rover to be a winning vehicle, and basically we couldn't get one hub to fit. It was machined poorly from wherever we bought it from, so that's why we couldn't bring the car. We tried 48 hours trying to fit it, it just didn't. We're hoping to win the unmodified. Let's see how that goes.
But there's a sense of camaraderie here, and the ultimate goal is about conservation more than anything else.
Car 26, very heavily modified vehicle. They've been working on the car for the last 48 hours trying to fix the hub. The team just came to me and said we've had to pull out, but we've given our money, and they were all looking very dejected and very upset and everything else. And I said to them, guys, then just go and get one of your safari cars and come in the charge. And they said, no, can we do that? I said, of course you can. This is what we're doing is a Harambe. We're trying to raise money and have fun, take part, enjoy, go out there. You've raised the money already. And so that's what they're doing. They brought out their Land Rover, which they had come with their Mazigos in. We're putting some stickers on for them, put the GPS in, and you know what? We don't have many unmodified cars, so these guys could have a chance of actually winning something.
As is a tradition, the Rhino Charge venue remains a secret until the day before the event.
Yeah, so before we receive the maps, we've just come to the venue now, so we are all secretly scouting and wondering which part of these beautiful lands I suspect they're going to put us around. So really, at the end, it's now we just wait for them to give us the map, then we take our time, we plan the route. Really, the key decisions we have, we know where we're starting from now, and the key decision is which direction we're going to go, clockwise or anti-clockwise.
Team aqueous, kindly take your last orders. The bar is about to close. Driver's briefing will start any minute now. Last orders at the bar, driver's briefing is going to start any minute now. Thank you very much.
Guys, welcome to Calippo, Rhino Charge 2015. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves so far. It's a beautiful venue. Let's make the most of it all together. Come and collect your maps, go and have a look and a think, and have a great day tomorrow, and we will see you hopefully safe and sound in the evening.
The reason why we keep this venue a secret up to almost the last day is that first, we want to prevent competitors from coming in advance to the site and trying to understand the landscape, the topography, or even to practice in this kind of landscape. I would say this is probably the official reasons. Actually, it participates to the build-up of a Rhino Charge. And as we near the event itself, people are more and more talking about where the event is going to take place. And you can imagine it just creates and builds up this kind of conversation about the Rhino Charge. And I think it's quite good.
And then it's off to work.
Compared to our last year, we are a little bit more prepared. We've definitely got a stronger running team than we had last year. And I think as we've got to know each other better, the driver has got to know his crew, and the crew have got to know the car. So we've been talking about this a lot more than we did last year. I think last year we got together and figured out things on charge day. Here we've tried to be a little bit more planned with our preparation.
Including Super Sport, we have approximately 40 sponsors. We believe deeply in the cause because it's protecting our Kenyan ecosystem. Water towers, which are very important, especially the Aberdares, which provides Nairobi City with all of its drinking water. So it's an environmental cause, and also we have a lot of fun doing it.
We definitely believe so. We're doing everything in our power to win. So our strategy is, yes, we've been together for a few days. We've been talking about this. We've gone for a few training runs. But yeah, so we're working hard on the communication piece of how we work together. Everyone has their role, and their roles are pretty clear. As long as we've got that right and we follow the plans, I think we can do well.
We've been doing Rhino Charge now since 2010, so this is our 6th Rhino Charge. Last year we started off very well, very aggressively, and unfortunately we rolled, so we were unable to complete the course because we lost 3.5 hours when we rolled. Our best position, I believe, has been about 14th. In 2015 we're hoping to finish in the top 10. Obviously we're going to try for the win, like every team does. Straight as lines possible, which is the aim of Rhino Charge. Obviously that's not all the time possible.
Now they're just going to do the last practice run, and once they've done that, we'll figure out how good the car really is.
A full night of planning and mapping. These guys have to figure out how to travel the shortest, straightest line through each of the 13 checkpoints.
So Rhino Charge is basically about getting between 2 points and the shortest distance, but because there's a time limitation, we've got 12 hours or whatever it is to complete the course in. We were given our 13 points that we have to visit in the shortest distance possible. So we first have to map them, find them on the map, plot them, read and understand the map, and then as a team we decide on what route we will take for what we have in terms of what our car can do and our team can do, and to try and finish the Rhino Charge. So that's what we're doing right now.
We picked up the map, which is going to be this for tomorrow. It looks short, nasty and brutish. A lot of big hills and a lot of thorns and luggers. I've never seen so much blue on a map. What's going on now is we're just mapping it. We're looking at all the alternative routes, and then we'll try and choose our line and what's the strategy for tomorrow. We'll make the plan for how we're going to attempt it, and hopefully stick to it.
For Team 26, a second chance at the charge meant that they were leaving nothing to chance. A long night of planning ahead.
You know, we're not using a competition vehicle, we're using a personal car, which makes it a lot more difficult because we've got to find the tracks. With a competition car, you can basically, point and shoot and you find your way through the bush.
6 a.m. and all cars gathered together and then traveled to their designated starting point at the Rhino Charge 2015.
It's going to be hot, it's going to be dusty, it's going to be thorny, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, so far it looks like tough terrain. The car is ready. We have a good run this time, hopefully. But I think preparation in terms of the team, everybody's fit. Again, we built the car up. It's just about now maintaining it for the day.
It's a good day. It's going to be a hard day. It's going to be a hot day. Lots of thorns and brush. But yeah, we're ready. The car, it suits us. I think the smaller cars will have bigger problems.
I think the biggest thing is hydration. Take it easy, take the car easy, and work smart. That's the big thing.
Yeah, it was an interesting night. The maps were not that detailed, so we are working quite blind on this one. So the runners are going to come into play a lot. It's going to be a very difficult course. It's not that long, so yeah, it's exciting. We'll see what happens.
The course looks a bit difficult, short, but very technical, obviously. But we're ready. Yeah, we've spent all night yesterday studying the map.
Good to go, man. Guys are looking good, man. Left hand, right hand. Left hand down, right hand down.
A year of building, planning, testing, and hoping that this would be their year, 65 cars would find their way to their starting point for the 2015 edition of the Rhino Charge here in Kalepo Conservancy. It was finally time.
All stations. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, charge.
And they're off. They tackle the untamed wilderness in straight lines, and this is why they call it the hardest off-road challenge.
I'm one of the control, or as they call it, guard post officials, and we're here to check the cars in to ensure that they've checked into this control. When a car arrives here, they get the car as near as possible to that mark there, which is set for the GPS, for the coordinates for this control. That's why we try and get them to park right on it. The procedure then is the co-driver brings his car to the table. He has the stamp from this control, and he says where he wants to go next. The reason for that is for security, so that the headquarters will know if he doesn't turn up where in the bush he's.
We are on time at the moment. We've done our route as we planned it. We've had a few small issues with the engine. It's not performing as well as it should, but apart from that, all good. Currently, we've made it to Craftsman. We have done 5 checkpoints so far. It is 11 o'clock, so the going's good so far. Now we've got the longest leg ahead of us to Greensteads. We've taken a couple of longer routes than we should have, but hopefully everyone else has done the same thing. So yeah, hopefully still part of the top 10, as long as we finish.
No, the event today is quite different from all the charges that I've been to. The terrain is quite an issue. Then the thicket is so much that you can't even see cars coming down and going up. Actually, this is one of the best charges that I've visited over the last 10 years. This is the best. It's awesome.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Holding at the Boma. First leg great, second leg, bit of a hill, steeper than thought. Going around it. Loving it.
I'm a Kenyan, but I live in Uganda. I've come for the first time, and I'm really impressed. It's very good. It's something worth seeing and worth doing. It's a challenge between man and machine. It's a good event.
The event, I think, has been organized very well. It's quite a challenge, as it has always been, but I think this is particularly challenging. Yeah, I think it's been organized very well.
It is a hard charge, a difficult one. For the first time of all these years I've been charging to break a uniblock axle is today. I've never broken one before. So it's hard. Well, we've been in this thing for some time, so we maneuvered.
And soon enough, too much strain leaves cars stranded. For car 41, a flat tire, followed by a mechanical failure, meant it was the end of the long and bumpy road.
Going fairly well, had a puncture 15 minutes into the charge, so that set us back about 30 minutes. The guys did a good job of changing the tires. So we checked what we could, a few lines, the fuel's going through, there's no spark coming out. So going into something more serious like a control box failure or something.
Is this one of the toughest off-road challenges in the world? You bet. And it's tougher this year than any other.
We broke down inside cabin cruise control, broke the rear shafts, and just a few minutes away from here, about 100 meters, we broke the front shafts. And of course, it was tough. It's tough, these sections of where we came through. And it was a car, I think we finished it on Thursday this week, just before the charge. So it was a trial.
And all this excitement comes to an end as cars finally arrive back at base. And for this rather unique group of chargers, it was about the togetherness of the event that mattered the most.
This year's event, I think the number one was comradeship. People were helping each other, people were giving something from car to car. People were, everybody was helping each other. I think that was the best thing about this charge. Not the breakdowns and the accidents, but that comradeship. Wonderful. I don't know if there's another word for it.
Rhino Charge is probably the toughest one-day 4x4 event in the world. And it's all about really going straight and through some very, very, very challenging and beautiful landscapes.
At the conclusion of 6 hours of what is referred to as the toughest off-road competition on Earth, it was time to award those that gave everything and left nothing in the thicket. From those who raised the most sponsorship money.
So the first prize goes to car number 5, which is Alan McKittrick, Bruce Knight, Ray Smith. We've got a new face coming in at number 2. This year, the second highest cash sponsorship is car 23. Peter Kinua, John Macharia, Robert Kariuki, Tommy Hellestad, Tom Morton, and Moses Nyaga. This year, the third highest sponsorship goes to Mark Tilbury, car 35, the Hog Charge team, including Peter Robert, Robin Tilbury, Chris Eden, Kevin Hughes, and Herman Rustians.
To these guys who managed to finish the charge in their unmodified Land Rover.
We're going to do the spirit of the charge. It goes to car 26. These guys now went round the Rhino Charge in a standard Land Rover and finished. When we've done the final results, they might be winning more than just the spirit of the charge. So guys, that really was the spirit.
Thank you.
And well done.
Fantastic,
Sorted.
guys. Well done.
Team, well done, guys. Boys. Well done.
The most unmodified.
Overall, it was Team 48 who took the ultimate honors, led by Mark Glenn, covering the least distance, followed by Sean Avery's Bundu Fundi, with Ole Choda grabbing third.
Well done, guys. Guys, this is the highest ever fundraise, and amazing. And thank you to all of you, because it's not easy to go out there and raise that money.
The 2015 edition of the Rhino Charge was one of the most difficult to date, a real journey for many. For some, like the members of Land Mawe's Car 41, the long journey home was just beginning.